Hi, I am Jen Wilson, the Healing Rebel, and today in this day 2 of your 7-day gut reset beyond food mini course, I am talking today about your digestive fire. Now, what does that mean? If you've been tracking the things that I've suggested to track, you will have a rough idea now of how often you go to the toilet and what the quality of your bowel movements are. This is a really good indication to what's going on within your digestive system and how well your digestive system is working. I mentioned yesterday about your posture, and also I did mention a little bit about finding these Goldilocks moments when I talked about the different consistencies of the bowel movements. There is a scale called the Bristol Poo Scale. If you stick that into Google, it will come up, and it's got 6 different variations of poo. And they did this as a study in Bristol and took the sort of average to create this scale. It's very much used by gastroenterologists and doctors to discuss with patients who have got gut health issues to try and work out whether they're constipated, having a healthy movement, or have diarrhea. And these also are a good indication of how well your digestive system is working. In traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, which is the sister science to yoga, they believe that all health starts in the gut and how well you digest your food. If you have too much heat in the digestion, then you will burn through your food really, really quickly. Potentially it will come out as diarrhea, but you'll always feel hungry, you'll never feel satisfied. If there is too much dryness, if there's too much air in the digestive system, then you're going to get gas and bloating. And if there is too much dampness in the system, you might feel like you've never got an appetite, or you feel full really, really quickly. You'll only have a tiny little bit of food and I don't really feel like that. And you'll always feel kind of heavy in the gut. Everything will feel sluggish and slow, and you might find that your poo is more to that sticky, difficult to pass towards constipation. The gas and bloating and dry, it might be that your poo is very hard to pass and the poo itself is very hard. So what we want to do is we want to have our digestive fire burning just at the right temperature. If you think about when you're cooking, if the heat's up too high, it's going to burn through things really quickly. And if the heat's too low, it's not going to cook in an appropriate amount of time. So it's thinking about your digestive juices as that. So what happens in the stomach when it's time to eat? Your liver is shooting some bile. Your gallbladder gets going and shoots some bile into the stomach to get the stomach acid and the digestive enzymes and everything ready for when you've chewed your foods. And it's important that we do chew our foods. And I have had a lifetime of not liking to chew food, so I have a tendency to go towards foods that are very soft, and that's very typical of the Western diet. Soft foods that you don't need to chew a lot. They'll link that with a whole host of other issues. People having very narrow faces, narrow teeth, and their teeth not fitting into their mouth properly. There's a link to not eating food where you're having to chew and strengthen the jaws. But another important thing that happens when you are chewing your food is that we start to stimulate the enzymes in our nervous system and send signals to the brain, which sends signals down to the stomach and to the liver and everything to start getting prepared for the food coming in. So when we chew that food, we chew and chew and chew, and then we get this slimy gloop, your saliva's all come in, and you've got this paste coming down, taking the food down into the stomach, and then the stomach starts mushing it up with the stomach acid, with the other digestive enzymes, so that can then go down into the small intestine, where the nutrients that have all been broken down and started to be released by this digestive process that started in your mouth. That all begins to happen, and when all these nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals are released from the food in the small intestine, your body can start absorbing it and sending those nutrients out to the cells in your body. Very basic this is the very basic elements of the digestive system, anatomy, physiology, trying to keep it as simple as possible. If that's not happening, so if you are a really fast eater and you're gulping your food down, or you're not chewing your foods, that doesn't start to happen in your mouth. The signals are not being sent, so then food's hitting your stomach. There's maybe not enough stomach acid, the digestive enzymes are not there, and then it has to kind of, if you think about being woken up suddenly and you're trying to get into whatever it is that you need to do, and you're like, give me a minute, I just need to get my brain in gear here to work out what's going on. That's what's happening to your stomach when food hits it, when it's not being chewed and your body's not prepared for it. It's like, oh, hang on a minute. Oh, we've got to quickly squish this on and pass it down. If the food's not broken down properly when it goes into the small intestine, the nutrients aren't there to be absorbed back into the body. So that food is then, all right, this is just waste products, so just send it on. We're not getting any nutrients from here because it's not been broken down, it's not being released. And then the food comes out the other end having not done the job. You've kind of wasted calories essentially, because it's not been able to happen properly. So that's why slowing down and chewing is very, very important. Now, if you're having foods like soups and smoothies, holding the food in your mouth just for a moment, so you're not gulping it down, just to get your body to start those signals of, oh, right, there's stuff here that needs to be processed, there's stuff here that needs to be dealt with. Let's take action. The chewing is vitally important. Now, if you are already a good chewer, but you still have issues, then it might be that your body is not producing enough of the bile and enough of the stomach acid to be able to process that food, or is producing too much. Now, what we don't want to do is we don't want to be taking what they call protein pump inhibitors, things like Immeasurable or any kind of variety of that. What the doctors have discovered is they had been dishing these tablets out like sweeties, thinking that they were completely harmless, dishing them out, only to discover after a number of years that they have actually caused a lot of damage in the body. They have caused a lot of damage in the gut. Those drugs are only meant to be taken in a very short period of time. Often, if there's another medication that's causing issues that you don't want stomach acid to be overproduced, then you would take this drug to just support the medication that you need to take on a short-term basis. I know people who have been on these drugs for years and they have nothing but gut health issues. So if you are on these drugs, I would be starting to speak to your doctor, have the conversation with your doctor about the plan to get you off of them to help support your digestion and your gut health. But now that we know so much more about the gut microbiome, which is the bacteria that live in the large intestine, now that they're starting to learn more about this, they're starting to notice and understand and learn the drugs and medications that are causing harm further down the pipes, which then cause health issues later on. I'm not telling you to stop taking your medication. I am not a doctor, but if you are on any of these kind of drugs, you need to be aware that this is impacting the digestive health. Your stomach acid is there to kill off the bacteria that shouldn't be going through into your body, that shouldn't be going into the system. If there's any bacteria on the food, it's helping kill that off to keep you safe. It's part of your immune function. So it's really important that we have enough stomach acid. People that have got low stomach acid and people that have got high stomach acid often experience very, very similar or the same symptoms. Heartburn, indigestion are two sort of most common symptoms. And there's a lot of assumption that your stomach acid is too high, and that's why these inhibitors have been getting diagnosed. But actually, low stomach acid has exactly the same symptoms. And if you've already got low stomach acid and you're putting these inhibitors in, then you're completely depleting. So, excuse me, this needs to be explored and looked at. If you have got symptoms of heartburn, indigestion, this 7 days is going to help First of all, we looked at posture yesterday. How are we holding ourselves, right? How much of a difference is that going to make? If your stomach's all squished, it's not got space for that stomach acid. Like if you take a balloon and blow it up and give it space and put 200 millilitres of water in it, it's got, and I've just made that number up, that's not how much stomach acid I think you have, it's just a number. You've maybe got this part here with the liquid, and then there's the rest of the space. If that balloon's all squashed and you try and put it in, of course, the stomach acid's going to get pushed up and out and be trying to push up the pipe because it's looking for space. So just by opening up your posture, straight away you're creating more space for the stomach acid to be there. So if there was too much, changing your posture is going to give it more space. Now, if there is not enough there and everything's squished down, which if everything's squished down, it's very unlikely that your body's going to be throwing in more liquid and more liquid. Body's very, very smart. And it goes, oh, the space there has been reduced, so I'm going to send less juice in. That's how smart it is. It's always looking, the word they use is homeostasis. It's always looking for how to make things work the most efficient way. But if we are creating obstacles, then it's creating a bigger problem. Some people swear by taking lemon juice in warm water before they eat to help. Some people swear by apple cider vinegar. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to 3 tablespoons of warm water. Some people swear by just adjusting their posture. If you find that you have that very damp sensation, if you're a very mucousy person and you always just feel everything feels heavy in your stomach, drinking a ginger tea about half an hour before you eat is very good because ginger helps stimulate your digestive enzymes. It can help kickstart that, as can the lemon water, as can the apple cider vinegar. Everybody's different as to what works better for them. What is important, particularly if you've got a dry environment or a damp environment, is that the only thing that you would drink before or with your meal is that warm ginger tea or lemon or apple cider vinegar. If you have the dry or damp environment, what we don't want to do is dilute what juices are there anymore. Do not drink iced anything, no icy drinks. That's going to cool and dilute your system. Don't drink while you're eating your meal, and this is something that I have heard lots over the last 10-15 years. Like, don't drink with your meal. This year is the first year that I've gone, oh yeah, I do that. Even though I was like, oh, I've always got a mug of herbal tea, and I was picking herbal teas that I know are good for digestion, but I was then watering down the stomach acid. So I now wait until half an hour after I've eaten before I have that drink, so that the stomach's been able to pulverize everything with the stomach acid that's there rather than the watered down version. Even though the herbs can help with digestion, it's diluting the acid, and we need that acid to kill the bugs that it needs to kill. So this is something that has been new that I have added in and noticed a big benefit. So no cold drinks before you eat. No drinks with your meal half an hour after you've eaten, just to help. Unless you've got that dry or damp environment, and then the warm ginger tea, and just a cup of it, not a big pot of it or anything, just a cup of it to help kickstart. Now, if your system is already overly warm, then you could have a cool drink before, just a cup to help dilute down and see if that helps cool and slow your system down a touch. But I would still think about your posture and see how you go just with posture first before adding anything in. When we have the posture and then the digestive juices working properly, that's going to have a profound impact on how your stomach's working, how your liver's working, how your gallbladder, if you still have one, is working. for sending the food on down. So if we've created this good environment, the space and the right environment with the chewed foods to come down into the stomach, for the stomach to do its job properly, that's going to have a massive impact on how your body is then able to process the rest of the food as it goes through your system. I want to know your thoughts on this. I want to know what your realizations are on this. So share it in the WhatsApp group. Let's have a conversation about how you feel your digestive fire is. Have you got any questions? Please do reach out to me. So the task, you're still doing yesterday's task, the opening out and closing in, to get this posture open to help create that space. And then we're thinking about, are we chewing our foods properly? Are we allowing the body to do what the body needs to do so that it's working at its optimal? Let me know how you got on, put the comments in, let's have a chat about this, let's see people's experience, and I will see you on the next video.